This is BluLunch, Sheridan College's own sports podcast, hosted by Jay and Drew.
So, I want to just kind of get into this dream I had, which is...
Martin Luther King? I have a dream?
No. It's an actual dream. It was weird because, as you know, I'm not really a football guy, but I was waiting at this, for food at this cafeteria in this high school. And I was putting stuff on my tray, and there was this big, huge, burly guy who is like the quarterback of the football team, and he's standing right next to me, right? And I go to pick up this little plastic cup. I guess it's for juice or something. I was going to put it on my tray, and he just whacks it off like he's some kind of smartass.
So something
right?
you see on TV.
Or in any movie that has to do with teenage angst, right? So he knocks it off my tray. So, knowing me, you probably can relate to this, I flip out on him, and I grab his tray and I whip it across the the cafeteria. And he looks at me and he's like, "You're dead." And then I'm like, whoa. Okay, let's get this straight. First, you knock out my cup, and what did you expect me to do? To just sit there and take it?
Now I have a question. Was this you back in high school, or was this you now? Did the kids look like they were in high school?
I didn't know what I looked like.
Yeah, but how did the kids look like?
Oh no, all the kids, this guy, again, because I'm not a very tall guy, right? This guy was huge. He looked like a huge quarterback, but he looked young. He didn't look older.
So you could have taken him.
I don't know if I could have taken him. I think one punch knockout from him. But anyways, I thought it was weird that I was dreaming that. And then all of a sudden he says to me, oh, you know what? You're right. I did knock it first. I understand what you're saying. And I'm like, I'm sorry I did that. Because I was like, if I didn't apologize, he was going to knock my block off. And then his team, his buddies from the team, walk up to me and they're like, "You're lucky he's such a nice guy. Otherwise, you'd be dead by now." And I'm like, I'm just going to go over here. And then I woke up in a cold sweat. And
worst nightmare.
This is my life. This is what I deal with now. This is how into sports I am. And I don't even pay attention to football that much. But I think it had to do with Chara, man. I'm just watching the Leafs game, which is one of the topics we're getting into. And Chara is like Big Bird to me. I'm scared crapless of him.
Just to let everybody know, Leafs, Bruins, Miami Heat. We're going to talk about how bad they suck.
Yes, I was getting to all of this. Thank you.
Ricky Romero. And, it's trade deadline day next week. But sorry, go on. Just wanted to introduce.
I was getting
You went on to your little dream and...
Well, it was very terrifying. And as much as I thought that this weekend was going to be terrifying for the Leafs, it wasn't.
No.
I thought shootout / overtime loss in each game would be a good outcome for the Leafs, and they won a game and they got a point in the second game.
Now, considering they were at 35 points before Saturday night, what would have you expected from them out of the two games against Boston? I mean, they got 3 out of 4. Would have you been happy with 2 out of 4? Would have you been happy with 1 out of 4?
I just said that. I would have been, if they lost in overtime each game, that would have been fine for me.
Okay.
But they got 1 extra point on top of that, and they actually won a game. Never mind that they got 3 points. They won a game against Boston. The Beast has been slain. I mean, I thought they were going to win last night, but, well.
They blew a 2-0 lead.
No.
You know Boston was going to come.
They did not blow. You have the wrong pronoun there. They did not blow a 2-0 lead.
Who blew the 2-0 lead then?
It was a combination of Phaneuf and Reimer.
You can't blame Reimer.
I can blame Reimer. I can blame Reimer.
James Reimer has stood on his head all 3 games
The
he's
only
faced Boston
credit,
this year.
no, the only
You
credit,
cannot blame James Reimer.
the only credit I'm going to give Reimer in really any game, not just games against Boston, is that he's 24 years old. Okay, we're not talking about a 30-year-old goaltender who, for some reason, he hits the ice when players come toward him. It's not that he panics. That's just that's the type of goaltender he is, and it's so easy to score on him. Like, when you know he's gonna go down on the ice to save a goal, just aim high, and that's what the Bruins were doing last night. Now, they didn't have success in the first 2 periods.
I think Toronto played a very good first period. It was very boring. I think when you go into Boston, like the panel was talking about, you don't want to give the Bruins energy, you don't want to give the fans energy, you don't want to give the arena energy.
That was Toronto's game.
Yeah, 0-0. And then Toronto went up 2-0. Kuhlman had a really nice goal. And Jake Gardner with the beautiful pass to Lupul. I mean, I was sitting there watching the television, and you could see it develop, and I was hoping Jake Gardner would pass that puck, and he did, obviously. But give the Bruins credit.
Wait, can you imagine if Holzer had the puck? Would we
probably a wrist shot into the chest?
The Leafs wouldn't even got a point. Think about it that way.
You know what though? Everybody's talking about free Jake Gardner, and I'd like to know your thoughts. Obviously, I think most fans would like him over Holzer, but he's turned the puck over. He's been a little sloppy in his own end. He's made some great plays though. He's jumped in the rush. He's made some sneaky plays in his own end. What are your thoughts on Jake Gardner so far?
Well, a lot of the defensemen have turned over the puck. That doesn't mean anything. Phaneuf essentially is the reason they lost the game last night, and he's the captain. So we can't really, Gardner is still very young. He has, how many games in the NHL has he played? Not very many.
Nope.
I know he played most of last season, but this season he's played 3 or 4 games, 5 games maybe, and Randy Carlyle's system, he didn't get used to it, and he is an offensive defenseman, so it is tougher for him. But again, though, playing with Koska,
do you know what? John Michael Lyles obviously was hurt. He's day-to-day.
He played well with Lyles. He did.
As you probably know, I'm not the biggest Mike Koska fan, but I thought he played pretty well last night.
Oh, God, no. See, I like Mike Koska, but I don't think he played well. I think between Gardner and Koska, it was a recipe for disaster. Okay, you have to split them up, put them with veterans.
Compare Koska to Phaneuf. I think Koska played a lot better than Phaneuf.
Oh, no.
Hold on. And Randy Carlyle, which 2 defensemen did he bench towards the end of the 3rd period and all of overtime? Who did he bench?
I don't know.
Mark Frazier and Cody Franzen. They did not play a minute. He rolled Phaneuf, Gardner, Koska. Who am I missing?
Gunnarsson.
That's who he rolled. And I thought Mike Koska played a good game. He didn't force things. Made some nice plays with the puck.
I don't know.
Usually I thought people were overhyping him, but last night I thought he played well. But, so it's 2-1.
Isn't there always a but with the Leafs?
There's always a but. It's 2-1. Toronto's holding on. They're playing a pretty decent 3rd period. And Dougie Hamilton dumps the puck in, chases it. Jake Gardner goes to get him. The Bruins are changing. The Leafs are changing. Patrice Bergeron and Dion Phaneuf are in front of the net. There's no support coming for Bergeron. I don't know what Phaneuf's thinking, but he stands there off to the side, and Bergeron's there. And Bergeron gets the puck, and he's kind of almost waiting for Dion Phaneuf to come and get him. And Phaneuf kind of goes at him once, stops, and then kind of throws his stick out, and Bergeron just lifts it up high. And next thing you know, it's 2-2. And
so wait, I don't get it.
What is Dion Phaneuf doing on that play?
Isn't Dion Phaneuf a good defenseman? Isn't that what everyone was saying
when
we got him?
If you hear the radio and television, the fans calling in hate Dion Phaneuf. And
he's played like garbage the entire season. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't have stats in front of me right
know what,
now.
though?
I don't know how many points he has, but the points does not make it.
We know
It's
that Dion Phaneuf isn't a defensive defenseman, though. We know that.
Oh, but
we know he's an offensive
You need
guy.
to be good defensively somehow, and he's just not. Like, I'll give you.
I want to know what he was doing on the ice with Gardner, though. What was he doing on the? Why wouldn't you have Phaneuf with Gunnarsson, a stay-at-home defenseman? Those guys both run up.
Yeah, but think about it this way. Like you said, they got caught on a line change. And Phaneuf was the only one out there.
But it was a
Phaneuf
2-on-2.
can't leave.
It was a 2-on. I know it was a 2-on-2. There's nobody there. I just want to know what Dion Phaneuf's thinking. I mean, Patrice Bergeron's there. Like, take the man. And he kind of, what's the word? He pivots at him almost, stops, thinking there's a guy behind him, and then by the time he reaches his stick out, it's too late. If he goes to Bergeron right away, who knows? Maybe the Leafs come out with 2 points.
So one of two things happens then. And that may change things for Phaneuf. One, you actually get a number one defenseman to play on the number one.
Yeah, but how are you going to get a number one defenseman?
Well, I'm just saying that happens.
You're going to have to pay a premium.
He gets moved to the second D pairing. Maybe that works for Dion Phaneuf. All of a sudden, he starts playing well, or you trade him. It's one or the other because right now. Phaneuf is not a defensive defenseman.
Why can't you put him with...
But you can't be giving up goals like that.
Why can't you put him with Frazier? Why can't you leave him with Gunnarsson and have...
Well, Frazier had a bad game too.
I know Frazier, but he's leading the Leafs in plus-minus. Gunnarsson's been a rock for him. Gunnarsson isn't the type of defenseman to jump in the play. Dion Phaneuf is the type of defenseman. He likes to jump in the play, create offense. And don't get me wrong, I like that. But he needs to play with a guy who's going to stay at home. He can't be playing with John Michael Lyles, Cody Franson, Jake Gardner. And on the ice, whether it was a bad change or not, I could have sworn he was playing with Gunnarsson, but he was on the ice with Gardner, and they both screwed up. Jake Gardner can't let Dougie Hamilton make that pass. You got to pin him to the boards. You got to tie him up. As for positives, though, let's look at positives.
Whoa. Talking about that play.
Let's not.
Talking about that play, though. Reimer.
You can't blame Reimer at all.
Why not?
If that's what you're going to do.
Because
Patrice
what
Bergeron,
possible shot could he have except a backhand? Move in and take the shot
What is the
away.
most difficult shot for a goalie to read? The backhand. Because you don't know where it's going to go. At least when you're on your forehand, you kind of have an idea with how he's holding the stick. You see it all the time.
It just seems like...
Bergeron could go up high. He could go down low. He could go blocker
doesn't it
side.
seem to you that like every single time the Bruins, and not just the Bruins, but other teams, every time they shoot the puck, and Reimer, for like 3 seconds, can't find the puck. He starts panicking. Like, this is not...
See, I find that with Scrivens. When he comes out to play the puck.
Well, I find it with both of them. So, this is not good. Especially against teams like Boston.
So, are you an advocate for getting a goalie at the trade deadline?
I wouldn't be against it. It depends on what the price is, though.
Now, do you want to get into trade deadline right now? Do you want to...
Might as well get into it now.
Okay.
So...
One of the names being floated around, and Leaf fans, keep your expectations in check because you would have to pay an arm and a leg. You can't just say, "Oh, we can trade Carl Gunnarsson and a second round pick for this guy." No,
it's going to be a first.
They're going to want a first and three prospects.
One of our senators, one of our senators, one of our centers, and then another, maybe 2 prospects, just for Kiprusoff.
Yeah, Mika Kiprusoff's the name. And
can you imagine Iginla? Oh my God, you're talking like
the only
a king's ransom.
The only benefit Calgary has here is they're essentially done. Yeah. We've been saying that for years, but in a shortened season, there's a lot of suitors looking for moving parts, and when you have Jerome Iginla, Mika Kiprusoff, Jay Bouwmeester, even maybe Mark Giordano, Dennis Weidman, they could sell off that whole 3-4 of those guys and get a ton of prospects back.
I don't know if I like any of those guys, though.
But pertaining Kiprusoff to Toronto, would you be for that?
Ugh.
I would be for it, but...
Assuming the price was right, yes.
But the price won't be right.
Then
they're not going to move Kiprusoff. No.
I would rather the Leafs, just edge into the playoffs or maybe not even make the playoffs with Reimer and Scrivens and keep their assets rather than them get rid of a bunch of prospects, and now what's going to happen? The first round pick's going to be gone. So what's going to happen? You're going to have 1 year of Kiprusoff. You're not going to win the cup with Kiprusoff because even if the Leafs let's say they make the playoffs, they trade for Kiprusoff, their first-round pick's gone, they lose Bozak, they lose a bunch of prospects. Who's going to be the first?
Exactly.
Who's going to be the first line
and
center?
That's what people
Kadri?
That's what people were saying last season when they were talking about getting Rick Nash. You get Rick Nash, but you're going to lose everything else. Now, Rick Nash has played well, but the Rangers haven't. Now, I'll throw a name out at you that we actually discussed a couple episodes ago, and we actually discussed a couple minutes before the show. St. Louis Blues have 3 goaltenders. One of them is a veteran. He's had an absolute horrible year, though. He's 3-6, an .851 save percentage, and 3.65 GAA. Do you know which goalie that is?
Brian Elliott.
Yes, Brian Elliott. And they wouldn't trade Halak, and Jake Allen's been a good story. So Brian Elliott's the odd man out. Or would you be for maybe bringing in Brian Elliott, going Reimer and Elliott?
Is he better than Scrivens? Not really.
This year, no. Last year,
I mean,
he was
anything
23
can happen.
and 10.
See, this is the thing. This is the factor. Anything can happen in the playoffs. Who has more experience in the playoffs, Elliott or Scrivens?
Elliott, he played with Ottawa.
Exactly.
St. Louis.
There you go. So, I mean, if you were going to ask me for playoffs, you know, it's a huge gamble because he's had an awful year. But who knows? If the Leafs get into the playoffs and they have Elliott backing up Reimer, I don't think anything's going to go well for him in the playoffs, to be completely honest. So Brian Elliott all of a sudden takes over because Reimer's had a bad game. Who knows? Maybe he takes it and runs with
Elliott
it.
has another year in his contract. The Leafs wouldn't have to give up a lot. If they're serious about a playoff push, it might not be a bad idea. You can always send Scrivens down. You could always send Scrivens to St. Louis. Now,
I wouldn't send Scrivens anywhere. I would put him back with the Marlies so the Marlies have a chance to win a championship. Because with the goaltending the Marlies have, I don't know if they're going to compete.
the Pittsburgh Penguins are serious about winning this year. Well, they're serious about winning every year.
No, but they're all in.
But they've made some moves. Brendan Morrow and Douglas Murray. Brendan Morrow, he's been a very good player for the Dallas Stars. He was an Olympian, won the gold medal. If you don't remember, he was on that 4th line, that energy line with Mike Richards. And Douglas Murray, although I'm sure people don't watch a lot of San Jose Sharks hockey, he's a very steady defenseman, reliable in his own end. I'd compare him a little to Adam Foote. Obviously not as great as Adam Foote, but similar type of player. Do you like what Pittsburgh did?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
they traded Joe Morrow, who's supposed to be a very good defenseman in this league. And they gave up a 2nd-round pick for Douglas Murray and a 4th, I believe.
Brendan Morrow on the 2nd line with Malkin is good. I think the key here is if you see, I mean, it's being reported that Pittsburgh is going hard after Iginla.
Mm-hmm.
If they get Iginla, I mean, it's like what happened with the Blue Jays this season. You know, one move, all of a sudden they're World Series contenders. Now, mid-season, you have Pittsburgh who get, I mean, they're not huge blockbuster deals, but these are the depth deals that they make you go far in the playoffs. And if they get Iginla on top of the moves they've already made, I mean, Iginla on the 3rd line, they were projecting that on TSN last night. On the 3rd line.
Well, let's look at the lines. Crosby's on the 1st line in the middle, and he plays with Chris Kunitz and Pascal Dupuis.
Which is a stellar 1st line.
It's okay. Pascal Dupuis, he's obviously not your prototypical 1st line winner.
And he's having a year over.
But he's having a good year.
But still.
So your 2nd line now is Evgeny Malkin, James Neal, and Brendan Morrow, essentially. Because Bo Bennett's on that line, and they don't want Bo Bennett there.
And Neal's a right winger, right?
He can play both. Okay. They alternate them. So
well, I was just gonna say,
Kunitz, Dupuis, and Neal. They play. It doesn't matter when you got Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin.
So what would you? Let's just hypothetically say that Pens get Iginla. Now I tried thinking of this last night too. Where would you put them? Would you put Iginla with Neal and Malkin? Or would you, and then bring Morrow down? Or would you keep Morrow? Because Morrow is a different type of player.
I would put Jerome Iginla with Sidney Crosby. No doubt. They played together in the past in the Olympics. You slide Dupuis down to the 3rd line. Good checking line that fits them well. And you roll Kunitz, Crosby, Iginla. And then you roll Malkin, Neal, and Morrow. And I don't know if you know this, but the Pittsburgh Penguins are only 1 point behind the Chicago Blackhawks. That's how good Pittsburgh has played this year.
And Anaheim is above them.
Anaheim's got 48. They're 2 points back of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
But Pittsburgh's one. Chicago, what were they? 22 straight games? Or?
Do you notice that? Yeah.
And
That's
Pittsburgh is 25-8, and they're right there.
Did you notice that these three teams that are battling for first overall in the league, you know what's common on all three of these teams?
Good centers?
Well, yeah, but something a little more specific than that.
No.
All three of them have superstars.
Well, yeah.
And, when people, look, I guess we can look at the really good teams of each conference. Look at
Montreal, though. Does
Boston,
Montreal...
Boston and Montreal are perfect examples. Do they have superstars?
Carey Price is a superstar in net. If you're talking up front, no, they don't.
And Boston, who's a superstar in Boston? To me, they're just really good hockey players, but there's no superstars.
When I think of Boston, I think of Bergeron, Marchand, Rask.
They're not superstars.
But they're not superstars.
Rask isn't even a superstar.
No, he's not.
He's a really good goalie. The Leafs could.
Would you consider Chara a superstar?
No way. He honestly, he is one of the better defensemen in the league. But is he a superstar? No.
Now, I'm going to throw some names out, and we will both give our opinion on where we think they will go. So let's start Joe McGinley. Do you think he's going to Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh, Calgary, LA's been talked about.
I don't think LA has what it takes to get Iginla, even though Iginla would fit, I think, the best with LA.
Vancouver?
No, Vancouver doesn't have anything.
My pick is the Boston Bruins. I think he'd fit perfect on the right wing. Nathan Horton's really struggled. If you put him with David Krejci, who's a passing center.
It's not about fitting. It's more about if it can happen.
Yeah, but Boston, they've shown interest.
That's been one of the teams. I don't think they'll do it.
So who's your team? I'm going Boston. And
the team, you asked me if the team would get him. Yeah, Boston's not going to get him.
Okay, so which team do you think gets him?
I think it's going to be Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I think Pittsburgh. If he gets traded, because this is how it's going to go down.
You think Pittsburgh is willing to part, though?
Well, let's put it this way. LA can't afford him, even though he'd fit the best with LA. That's just my opinion. Pittsburgh, this is how it's going to go. He's going to go to Pittsburgh, or he's going to stay in Calgary. I don't think there's going to be any other team.
I don't think he's going to stay in Calgary.
I think he's going to stay in Calgary.
Maybe I don't know.
Listen,
dumb for thinking this. I could see Ginley getting traded and then re-signing with Calgary in the offseason and finishing with the Flames.
No, he's done. He's done with the Flames.
Mika Kiprusoff.
He's done with the Flames too.
So where's he going?
Isn't he still injured?
No, he's back.
Yeah, but I mean, how much?
I say he stays with Calgary. I don't think they trade him.
I'm just thinking about his injury problems this season.
Who needs goaltending
help? How much would you even pay? He's been injured this season. You're telling me you're going to pay a top prospect in the first round?
You know what? Goaltending's always a premium.
But he's old, and I mean, that's my issue.
Washington, Carolina.
Why would you pay a first round pick
Minnesota
and a decent prospect for someone who's been injured most of the season, who's rarely played? Yes, he's had a good past. He's gone on runs. He's played over 70 games in a season.
He's played great.
Kiprusoff is one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, but it's a huge but. For that price, for him being injured,
so he's staying. You think he stays?
Kiprusoff?
You said you think he's gone. But
if they really are serious about cleaning house, Kiprusoff's gone.
Do you have a destination? I mean, I'm looking at the teams. Pittsburgh's got a goalie. Montreal's
Toronto
got a goalie.
has got to be on that list because.
Well, yeah. Do you really see him going to Toronto though? I find it a little hard to believe.
Realistically, I don't see him going to Toronto because I don't think Toronto's going to pay the price. But Toronto has to be on the list. No, not Carolina. What are you going to do to Cam Ward's confidence if you bring in
flop
Kiprusoff?
him for Ryan Miller? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Minnesota.
Ryan Miller's another name that I would consider
Detroit. Jimmy Howard. Is he really your number one? Kiprusoff would fit really good there. But I say he stays with Calgary. Roberto Luongo. What happens to Roberto?
I think they're going to trade him in the summer.
So he stays for the run then?
Yeah, he's gonna stay.
I
for
think
the
so
run.
too.
They'd be stupid to trade him before April 3rd.
Vancouver's, they're right at the top. They got 40 points.
You do know they're
Corey
not
Schneider's, I don't know if you know though, Corey Schneider's played 4 straight games.
four wins,
4 wins.
Good for
He's got a
him.
shutout.
but they would not be in a playoff spot if it wasn't for Luongo. So they're not trading Luongo.
Yammer Yager.
How about Yammer Yager on the Leafs, man? No, seriously, like veteran presence. The Leafs have no veteran presence at all. And we're talking about playoffs? Please. I think Yammer Yager could help any team.
They've
in the
talked
NHL.
about Yager to Anaheim.
Why?
Anaheim
Isn't Dallas like the last bus stop for all the
Ray Whitney,
old guys?
yeah.
Like, and they're good guys. Like they're
they've
good
talked
players.
Yammer Yager. Well, maybe not so much. Maybe if they lose it on Iginla, but they've talked Yammer Yager back to Pittsburgh. How interesting would that be? Having him play with Malkin.
Pittsburgh's like, if they pull off Iginla and Yammer Yager,
Well, they got Brendan Morrow. I think they're gonna get one more.
don't you like this? Like I'm hearing all these moves that these like Pittsburghs are making, and all the players like other teams have, like Boston, and you have Anaheim re-signing their guys, and they have superstars, and then you look at like the local team, and there's none of that. There's no superstars. There's no us going hard after guys that will help us.
We're not in a position to do that though.
Yeah, but
Which brings
we're going to I'm saying we're going to the playoffs.
Pittsburgh's won 12 in a row. I
I'm
did
saying
not know that.
it's tempered enthusiasm about going to the playoffs as a member of Leafs Nation. The thing is, I mean, how much different do these players make? The Brendan Morrows and maybe even the Yammer Yagers getting a goaltender, like you don't hear any like I've heard that Nonis.
Yeah, but you're not you. Why are you going to bring him in? Why are you going to trade prospects? I mean, if someone said to you,
So
here,
what are you
here, I'm
gonna
going to
do?
give you a scenario. So let's say that
want-
you obviously want to talk Toronto. So let's say the Leafs go out and get Brendan Morrow, and
It's
you
the
got
trade
and you
deadline.
got to give up Jesse Blacker. You
Yeah.
going to do it?
For what?
Blacker and what was it was essentially Joe Morrow for Brendan Morrow, and then they flopped third and fifths, I think. But
I would do it in a heartbeat.
you would trade Jesse Blacker for Brendan Morrow, even
Yes.
though he's a UFA and you're going to lose him. That's why the Leafs aren't getting involved.
Well, the UFA
Okay, now let me
situation is murky.
Yeah, but let me throw.
We can
okay,
always
let's do
discuss an
Jerome
extension.
McGinley. Let's say Jake Gardner, a first round pick.
No, Jake Gardner is
Okay,
that's where it ends.
Okay,
Sorry.
so that's why Toronto isn't getting involved. That's exactly, and I
But
have no
don't
problem
mean
with that.
I don't mean the Jerome McGinleys. I mean, like, I don't mean the UFAs. I want
Like Dan Boyle. Dan
Boyle is a perfect example.
Well, he's
of
got
a-
another year on his contract.
The Leafs.
So
the Leafs should be going after Dan Boyle.
So if remember though, and I wanted to bring San Jose up actually.
as long as it's not
But-
Gardner.
No. I wanted to bring San Jose up for this reason. They're 10th in the conference. You look at their team on paper, they're a very good team. Joe Thornton, Logan Couture, Patrick Marleau, who's another forward? Ryan Clough, Dan Boyle, Anthony Niemi. They have a good team. Obviously, they've shipped out Douglas Murray. San Jose Sharks, they fail every year in the playoffs. We know that. Are they a team that unloads? And if they do, Dan Boyle's got another year on his contract.
There's two players I would go at. Well, I guess three. We're talking about Boyle.
But remember, Toronto's not the only team that's going to want Dan Boyle. There's going to
Right.
be other teams.
But
so
this
the
is-
price will be high. Are you willing
You're
to
right.
give up?
You're right.
Are you willing to give up, like Stuart Percy and a first and maybe another mid-level prospect? Are you willing to do that?
I would. For Dan Boyle, I would.
So you have
For
him for
Boyle,
a year and a
I
half.
would.
Doesn't that remind you a little of Brian Leach?
No, it doesn't. Because the Leafs are a completely different team than when Leach joined the Leafs. When Leach joined the Leafs, there's a bunch of old guys.
Yeah, but
with Leach, there's young guys now. Dan Boyle, I think, will flourish under
I think
Randy Carlyle's system.
I think Leaf fans are getting away that I think it's the fact that they're in a playoff race. They haven't been in a playoff race this serious since 2004.
So what would you do?
Toronto and fans want the Leafs. I think Leaf fans think that they can win the cup. That, let's go out, let's make a push. And then what's going to happen? Just like in years past.
They'll get knocked out in the first round.
No, just like years past where they trade all their prospects, trade all their picks. Team loses these players that they get to unrestricted free agency, or they get older, and we're in the same situation.
So don't trade the first round pick then. Trade a good prospect and the second round pick. Maybe trade 2 second round. The whole point, as long as you keep your first round pick, you can get knocked out of the first round after making a big trade, and you'll still have a first round pick. Here's the thing. These 3 players that I would, like, we're talking about San Jose.
Yeah.
3 players I'd go after. Dan Boyle, we need a good defenseman. We do not have a good defenseman.
He's older.
He's a veteran presence.
Dan Boyle fits, I think.
He has experience.
He fits Boston. He fits
Toronto
Anaheim.
because Toronto need him more than any other team. But the other player, and you know what? We're talking about like
what's
franchise changing.
My question to you though is, what is wrong with letting the kids develop?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Why don't we just go with what we have?
You
see
know,
what we got?
I've been an advocate.
No,
for
I know
that.
you have, but
that's
why I'm asking
eventually
you.
You need to bring in someone.
Why not do that next year though? Why not do that 2 years from now when the kids have grown a little more?
Who's it going to be?
We don't know though. We don't know. Maybe
No. But who is this person you're going to bring in? Name them.
Well, why?
That you're not going to bring in now.
Why,
you might as well bring them in now then.
I'm just saying, why don't we see what we have with this team? See how they do. Let's see if they make the playoffs. If they do,
okay.
And then when they get knocked out, because
before you interrupt my second guy again.
Hold on. Before you interrupt me, so let's say they go to the playoffs. They will get knocked out. They won't win the cup, but it's nice to watch. And let's see what they need. They can address that.
But what if Nonis doesn't do anything? He's notorious for not doing things.
My point is, let the league. Don't touch anything. Let's see what we got. I don't want to trade young guys for old guys. That's the last thing I want. They're not in a scenario. They're not Pittsburgh. They're not Boston. They're not Chicago.
So then
they're not experienced. Those are experienced
me getting
clubs.
into my next point.
So go on.
You would be against, because I'm saying that the other 2 you'd go after is Niemi. And then if that's not realistic,
they're not trading Logan Couture if that's who you think.
No, one that's even more far-fetched.
Marlowe?
No.
Thornton?
Yeah.
You should see the smirk on his face.
Joe Thornton is, playing in Toronto, Joe Thornton would be a god. Okay.
Look,
he would lead that team. You have no idea. Rip this C off the North's chest and give it to Thornton.
Do you know what's funny? If Brian Burke was still general manager, I could see him making a play for Joe Thornton.
You know what?
Dave Nonis, I can't see.
I don't care what they give up. If Joe Thornton is playing with the Leafs in the playoffs, the Leafs will go further than you think, even with crappy goaltending. And that's because he's a leader and he's a veteran. No, I'm serious. I'm not even joking.
Canadian boy.
Like, he's a Canadian boy, but seriously, like, think of who. We're talking about postseason successes here.
Don't quote me, but I think Joe Thornton has a no trade clause.
So what?
You think he's going to want to come to Toronto, really?
Listen, Toronto's in a playoff spot. San Jose isn't.
If I was a star of the San Jose Sharks and I could go out to coffee shops, drink coffee, not be interrupted, play hockey,
but
enjoy the weather, great. I don't want.
Joe Thornton understands. He's won gold medals. He knows how it goes. And I just think that if it's not Joe Thornton, eventually, I don't care what you say about giving up young guys for old guys. Eventually, that has to happen.
If the price was right and Joe Thornton were to waive, yeah, it would definitely be interesting. But I think it's a little too unrealistic at this point. But it would help. We forgot to say, Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlaf, scratch them off.
I purposely didn't mention that because I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Like, I wasn't thinking Getzlaf. I was thinking that maybe we'd be able to sign Perry.
We need to move on to Miami, but quickly. Guy Boucher fired. Good move, bad move? Tampa Bay? You don't care?
It's the right move. He had to get fired sometime. They have Stamkos, and they have some of the best players in the league.
They seem to start at the top, and they've kind of regressed since
I think it's been their coaching, to tell you the truth. They have the firepower. They have the most goals for in the whole NHL. And look at them.
Alex Semin signs a 5-year, $35 million contract with Carolina, an extension. $7 million a year. That's a lot of money for Alexander Semin.
Is he any better than Kessel? Like, how bad is this for the Kessel signing?
Semin's got a nice skill set. It's probably very bad if you want to
like $7 million for Semin. Fuck. I mean, sorry. I'm sorry, but this is really disastrous. I'm like, Andrew's freaking out. He's laughing now. But no, seriously, this is serious because now Kessel is going to go into the negotiations this summer or whatever during the year next year. And the first thing he's going to say is $8 million.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like, this is horrible. When I found out that he signed for that much, I was like, well, we can pretty much check off Kessel from the roster after next year because he'll be traded.
$8 million.
Because I don't think the Leafs...
He's better than Semin. He's better.
The Leafs are not going to trade Phil Kessel. They're not going to sign Phil Kessel for over $8 million like they did with Corey Perry.
They'll probably have to choose between Kessel and Phaneuf.
Oh, God, that's tough.
That's what... We'll have to cross that
I've never heard that before. If you ask me now what I would choose, I'd be like, I'll keep Kessel, man. Phaneuf doesn't score enough and doesn't defend enough to justify $7 million. And he has 6.5 right now. That's
do you want to do basketball or baseball?
We'll do basketball because the Heat, I hate the Heat, but I can't deny.
We're not talking Raptors. There's nothing to talk there.
There's nothing to talk. The season's been over for weeks now.
Yes.
But with the Heat, 27 win streak is we're creeping up on what? It's a 33 game winning streak, which was the record so far. All-time record in the NBA made by the LA Lakers.
I'm not sure. I know that the modern day was Houston. They had 22 or 23.
But yeah, they won last night, 27. That was a crazy game.
Now, my first question, what is more impressive? The Miami Heat winning 27 games in a row or the Chicago Blackhawks being undefeated in 22, I think, or 23 in hockey?
I think the Blackhawks.
You think so?
Oh, for sure. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to win a hockey game?
Yeah, no, you're right, but
like basketball games, all you need is one good player.
The reason I would pick the Heat have 3, two.
They have 2.
I hate Bosch.
Bosch is a mediocre good player.
The reason I would pick the Heat though is because the Blackhawks technically lost a couple games within that streak. You did shootout. Sorry, they didn't lose in overtime.
That's true.
So that's
but
why
I still
would pick
find
the
it
Heat.
incredibly easy to win a basketball game.
I find it unbelievable though how the Miami Heat can be down 27 points in the third quarter and come back and win.
It's because the possession of the ball from the superstars, that's what it is. See, no, I'm serious. If you think of the factors of scoring points in each sport, do you have any idea how difficult it is to score a point in hockey? You have people trying to stop you left, right, and center. In basketball, you'd be lucky to have a guy stop you. Because then he'll get fouled and you'll score anyways. It's the cheapest league in all of professional sports when it comes to scoring because it's so easy to score. So to me, this is, in my opinion, it is so easy to win a basketball game as long as you have one good player.
I'm going to throw a stat out at you. The Miami Heat have won 27 games in a row. The Toronto Raptors have won 26 games this season. That's pathetic.
The Raptors don't have a superstar player.
I don't want to get off topic, but what's the point of a lockout in the NBA if it's the same crap? Miami Heat's at the top with 3 superstars, and then
you know what it has to do with, right? It's all money.
Oh, it is all money.
Miami. You have any idea how much the Miami Heat are worth now because of those 3 yahoos running around scoring points?
2.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris Bosh is.
Well, I meant the Birdman. Yes.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah, I know he is.
They just got him, right?
First year in Miami, yes.
This year,
yes.
right? Oh, I saw a couple blocks
Funky
last
hair
night.
and dunks.
See, to me, that's intriguing. LeBron James is not intriguing because he's the same stuff every night.
You got to admit, though, how amazing is LeBron James I mean, we're not even talking Dwayne Wade in this streak.
I mean,
It's all LeBron.
Okay, compared to the other basketball players in the league, he is the best. He is the best in the league. That's like saying, is Sidney Crosby the best player in the NHL? Yes, he is. But why? That's the question.
LeBron plays all 5 defensive positions. He can handle the ball. He can guard a center. I mean, he's hitting threes, hitting fadeaway fadeaway long twos, dunking. He's doing everything.
His morality is one to be questioned, but still, he's a good player.
I still think that if you were to match him up against Michael Jordan in their prime, I would still take Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was just clutch.
Michael Jordan, like, I would never pick any player over Michael Jordan.
No, I mean, neither would I.
I don't know. Like, I've actually seen Michael Jordan play, like, not live, but I've watched it, and he just plays the game differently than LeBron James. It's weird. It's like a different energy, and when you see it, you see the difference.
The Heat are 56-14.
They've lost 14 games.
Yeah,
wow.
San Antonio is 53-17. Is there a team that can beat the Heat, or should we just crown the Heat champions right now?
I think the Heat are going to be the champions. As much as it.
Do you
really
think there's a
pains
team
me.
in the East that can challenge them?
No way. There's no team in
What
the
about
East.
in the West? Oklahoma, the Clippers.
Maybe the Clippers.
Denver had a
Oklahoma
long
looks good.
streak.
Oklahoma looks good. I don't know about
San Antonio.
maybe the Clippers. If they've played well, but we'll see. We'll
the
see.
only team in the East, and I know people said like the Knicks can give them a run. I don't think the Knicks are a
no
very
way.
good team.
No way.
The only team that can
The Raptors. Hey, they've played well
played
against
them
the
tough.
Heat.
They played
I
them
mean, they've
tough.
lost every game, right? But
Raptors are also 9 games out of a playoff spot. The one team I think that can give the Heat issues, the Indiana Pacers. They got a good backcourt. Most importantly, they have a very good front court.
a Western team is winning the championship, though. I can tell you that now.
I thought you said the Heat are going to be crowned champions. Are the Heat going to win the championship? That's my question. Should we crown them?
I mean, logically. Like, logically, you crown them.
Yeah.
But I meant me personally, I would think... I mean, I would love for a Western team to win.
I'd like to see Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Oklahoma... I don't know. For some reason, I just cheer for them. It's like the Heat
They're
you
that
don't
team.
cheer for.
No,
you
you know what
like
it is,
them.
though? The Heat weren't put together by management. The Heat were put together by themselves. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh all got together and say, "Hey, let's play on a team and let's win championships.
They could have picked
and
any
make
team.
money."
They could have picked the Raptors.
And
Let's all go to the Raptors.
And you don't see Michael Jordan, Larry Bird saying, "Oh, let's team up. You know what? It's too difficult for us to win. Let's just all team up and win." They took the easy route. I think why we pull for Oklahoma, or the majority of fans do, Kevin Durant, drafted 2nd overall. Russell Westbrook, drafted 3rd overall. James Harden, who was on the team, drafted 2nd overall. Serge Ibaka was a 1st-round pick. So it's built properly. They've tanked out. They've kind of done the Pittsburgh-Edmonton approach in hockey. They've tanked out. They've built their young guys. They've developed them. And that's why I want to see Oklahoma win. San Antonio is the same thing, though. Tim Duncan, he's been on the team since, 97? Tony Parker's been on the team. Manu Ginobili, it's a solid core. They've been built the right way. Why everyone hates Miami, other than because LeBron James had the announcement, is Miami decided they wanted to get together. They didn't want... Dwayne Wade could have his own team. LeBron James could have his own team. Chris Bosh could have his own team. Just like they used to. And they could challenge themselves. But no, it was too hard for them. So LeBron James and Chris Bosh took the easy way out and joined Dwayne Wade, who already had a ring. And now they're just killing the NBA.
That's what Michael Jordan
It makes
said.
me sick.
Michael Jordan kind of hinted on that when he was talking about LeBron James, and he's like, "Well, I never went to a team with."
Yeah, I never asked Magic and Larry to get together and make a team and win championships.
That's why I think Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time.
6 championships, and he retired within that.
I don't want to say it's by
stretch.
himself, but he didn't have.
He had a good team, but he didn't have superstars.
Exactly.
Scottie Pippen wasn't a superstar. He's a very, very good player. He had Steve Kerr, Dennis Rodman, Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley. He had a lot of nice role
And
players
don't
there.
you think that they played better because Michael Jordan was playing with
I
them?
do.
Like, if Michael Jordan's not playing on that team with them, they're not playing that well. So, like, Dwayne Wade was always playing well.
You know the guy on Chicago was Michael Jordan. When you talk about Miami, you talk about the big three. Even if Bosch isn't as big of a part as you think. People don't talk You know what, though? Do you think it makes Dwayne Wade mad? It's his team. He's been on the team since
He already has a
04.
championship for it. He's probably going to get another one, so I don't...
But everyone's talking LeBron James. Oh, it's all LeBron James. Oh, LeBron James is going to win MVP. Do you think it would piss Dwayne Wade off a little bit?
I don't think so.
As long as Wade's winning.
Listen, if you get 5 championships in a row, who the hell cares who's crowned the poster boy for your team?
From the high to the low now. There's not much
high, because I hate
There's not much lows right now in Toronto Blue Jay land. I don't know if you heard, Brett Laurie will be starting the season on the DL.
Yep.
Rib cage injury that he suffered at the WBC.
First I heard he was going to start the season, and now I'm hearing this.
For the WBC though, would you play it before the season or after? I'd probably play it after because injuries happen. Look at Hanley Ramirez, he's out 2 months.
Well, in a recent interview with JP Arancibia, he was asked if he would prefer that the WBC was played after the World Series. His response was that no, because most of the players are packing it in. Most of the players who have gone through the World Series, the playoffs, they're tired.
So he would rather have it at the beginning.
Yeah, he would rather have it at the beginning and make it part of the spring training, which essentially it was.
Yeah.
I think the World Baseball Classic is a piece of crap. I don't think it should be anywhere. I think it should be in the Olympics. Because no, seriously,
I agree.
it should be in the Olympics.
I agree.
Because that is in the middle of the season.
Why don't they take a 2-week hiatus? They do this every 4 years, kind of like what they do with the World Cup in soccer. Take a 2-week hiatus in the middle of the summer, have the best players go, have a little mini tournament, all like across the world. You could put it just in the States there and do it that way. I know it would disrupt the baseball season, but look, hockey does it for the Olympics. Even if it is for the Olympics, it doesn't have to be the WBC. I think it would be a great idea.
I think the Olympics should really consider putting this sport in.
I get the impression that people don't take the WBC serious, and come on,
It doesn't have the Olympic rings to it.
If people did,
I don't know.
Better players would be joining. And I know Canada got Joey Votto and Brett Laurie, so Canada was fine. But
Brett Laurie didn't even play a game.
Yeah, but that's because he was hurt. He was still on the bench. He was still there.
And there's the double-edged sword there. You want your players to play. Like, Jose Bautista wasn't even allowed to go.
Yeah, exactly.
He wanted to go. The Dominican Republic won. And how pissed off do you think Jose Bautista is now that he wasn't part of the team that won the World Baseball Classic after being so bad in the last couple of years? I would be upset.
As a Blue Jay fan, I'm happy he didn't go. I mean,
no, trust me.
Yeah.
That was the right move. And I hope he understands that. I hope he's not clouded. Like, this is your team. The Dominican Republic, that's your country. It's not your team. So, yeah, if they had it during the Olympics, it would make more... Like, I would let Bautista go if it was the Olympics.
I would have had no problem letting Bautista go if he didn't have surgery on his hand or his wrist.
And I'm sure that's... I mean, look
but
at
again,
the Jays.
If it was Olympics...
Jose Reyes was allowed to go, and he's had
Edwin
problems.
Encarnacion.
So,
but
and now he's injured. Edwin Encarnacion is injured now.
Is he hurt?
He is. His finger. He broke his finger.
He broke it?
Yeah, or sprained it or something, but he couldn't play in the last 2 games.
Oh, I didn't know that. But moving on to the Jays. The one consistent pitcher of the last 3 years, not counting last year, was Ricky Romero. The one guy
Is that stat accurate?
The one guy they could throw out every 5 days, and the Jays had a chance of winning. And it seems to be the opposite. Right now, it's the other 4 pitchers are going to give you a chance to win. And Ricky Romero has struggled in preseason. So he wasn't able to get batters out against the single-A Pittsburgh Pirates. He's going today.
So which one do you want? J.A. Happ?
Well, I was going to ask you.
Starter? Well, I'm asking you.
Wow.
You got your Ricky Romero shirt on, so
well, you know my answer then.
You want Ricky Romero as your 5th starter?
Yes, I want Ricky Romero as my 5th starter.
You're crazy.
I knew you were going to pick J.A. Happ.
I think the Jays, but he's lights out this
Preseason-
spring, and he's lights out last year
the
too.
Grapefruit League doesn't mean anything.
But he was good last
He
year
was
too.
good
Was a
last
lot
year.
better than Romero.
He's a very, very good 6th starter. He could
I-
probably
I-
be a 4th starter.
The only thing that I'm perturbed about when it comes to the Jays is their decision, and they're adamant. He is going to be the 5th starter. That is the wrong move.
Well, they haven't. Alex Anthopoulos, I was about to say JP Ricciardi.
He
Alex
said it lots of
Anthopoulos
times.
came out and said last week after the horrendous start that they have their 5 starters set, but they're constantly evaluating. And J.A.
And
Happ
some
went
may
out.
haven't due
Did
to
you see
injury.
J.A. Happ's start 2 days ago?
Yeah.
6 scoreless innings against Boston.
Yeah, I mean J.A. Happ is better than Romero right now.
Right now, yeah. So you're saying Happ?
Yes.
I would say this is what I would do. Just based on that Ricky Romero, based on loyalty, I'd give Romero
Loyalty. Oh my
I'd give Romero a month.
Let's win some games. Never mind loyalty.
I would give Romero a month. And I would see if he goes out his first 2-3 starts and he can't get out of the 4th inning and he's given up
First 2-3 starts.
Yes, I would.
So this is how it's going to go down.
What if
The optimistic Jays fan, right?
That's me right now.
First 4 games, win.
Yes.
5th game, loss.
Yeah.
Why? Because of Romero. That's why. Romero.
We
Right
don't
now
know
is-
that though. Maybe Romero pitches well and
Right. Okay. So he's gonna.
maybe they
Next week is the home openers.
Okay.
You're telling me in 2 weeks' time when he pitches for the first time, like we're gonna see. They're playing today at 1:00. They're playing.
It's a single A team I think he's doing again.
They're starting in 15 minutes against Pittsburgh,
Yeah, again.
and I'm gonna. The game hasn't started yet. I'm gonna predict right now he is going to be taken out of the game.
So so you pick J.A. Happ,
Yes, I do.
and what do you do with Ricky Romero? Is he your long man or does he go to Buffalo?
I think he starts on the DL.
But there's nothing wrong with him. He can't start.
There
on the
is
DL.
something wrong with him. There's something severely wrong with him. That's why he's not pitching.
Do you think
well.
it's physical or mental? That was my next question.
I don't think it's mental.
I think it's mental.
I think it's physical.
They're
there's
changing his
something-
arm slot. They're changing his
He
delivery.
already had surgery on his elbow. There's something wrong with his knees. He needs to have a complete physical, and he needs to work on that stuff. Not just, like, I don't know what he was doing in the offseason that he comes to spring training and he's in pain. Like,
Well, it's chronic though. What he has in his knee.
and that's not good.
No, it's not good.
Not for a pitcher that's supposed to be young, you know?
I wanted to bring up a point. Who won the World Series last year?
I don't even remember.
The San Francisco Giants.
Right, the Giants.
They
I
had
thought
they had very good pitching.
wasn't the Cardinals?
That was the year before.
Right, that's why. That's why I was confused.
The Giants beat the Tigers, but
Right, they beat the Tigers. Yes.
the Giants had very good pitching. They had Ryan Vogelsong. I can't even. What's his name? Matt Cain. Do you remember though? Do you know who their Cy Young winner was a couple years ago and where he was pitching? Their Cy Young winner from a couple years ago, Tim Lincecum, who many consider the best pitcher in baseball. Well, at least they did last year. Was pitching out of the bullpen. And I'm not trying to let Ricky Romero give him some
So would
leeway.
you put him in the bullpen?
I'd put him as the long man. If he's not going to be the 5th starter, have him as the long man. Because the way I look at it, if he's coming into the games, the Jays are going to be down 5-6 runs. You put him in, you let him work things out. It can't get any worse.
Or it can, and you have no chance
But-
of winning.
What I would do, I'd start him first game. Let's see how he does. If he goes 5 innings and he gives up 4 runs, I'd be like, meh. Okay, let's try him again.
To me, that's
And
more
then-
possible than him
And then
winning.
if he does the same thing, all right, let's try him again. And then if he gives up,
That's 3 wins that are gone because we're trying him again. When J.A. Happ is just tearing it up,
now
like he's always been.
the
tearing
argument
it up.
has been from people that want to see Happ is this is the season to win. We have actually a good team. We don't have time to experiment.
Exactly, it's true.
So
I say you put in the best pitcher. If he loses that game, take him out and put Happ in. If he loses, put Romero.
I have
back
no
in.
I have no problem if they start J. Happ right away, but I'd like to see them go Romero. If he struggles, yank him, put him in as the long man, or send him to AAA.
I
Get
think
the kinks worked out.
I think he needs to be sent down to really get that message. And then I think if he gets sent down, he's not going to be for long.
The Jays
He
owe
gets sent
him
back up.
$23 million guaranteed still in his contract. So they need to figure a way to get him going, to get him back to what he used to
But
be.
imagine what a wake-up call that would be for him if he gets sent to Buffalo.
That would be a huge wake-up call. I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm curious.
Like, it may blow his confidence, or...
Are you curious to see what happens today?
Yeah, actually I am.
And
I never thought I'd say that about
I
a
think-
spring training
I think
Grapefruit
the
League
whole Toronto
game,
Blue
but
Jays brass will be at the minor league complex seeing how he's going to pitch, because this start today could depend whether he makes the roster
this is
or
probably
not.
the biggest start of his career.
Yeah, and it's a preseason game against the single A
killing
Pittsburgh
me here.
Pirates. So
It's true.
unbelievable. Anything else? We covered everything. I don't know if you have any final
I
thoughts.
love how you're asking me. Anything else? I'm not sure. Yeah, no, we can talk about dreams if you want.
Do you want to end on a dream or?
Yeah, sure. I'll end on a dream.
Well, we gotta give our predictions.
Oh,
Toronto
yeah.
has
Well, first
we don't do Raptors
hold on,
anymore.
Hold on.
Let's give our Ricky Romero prediction.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Let's give our Ricky Romero. I said for sure the Jays are gonna lose that game today.
Mm-hmm.
Romero just isn't there. He hasn't been there for a while, and I think he's gonna give up a few runs in the first or
Do you
second
realize
inning.
that a week from today the Jays open up?
I said that like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
I must have been looking at the standings or something.
So it's gonna be an exciting week next week because we have
All right, so
trade
let's-
deadline and we have the Jays home opener.
So, sorry. So your prediction for Ricky Romero then today and for
He's
the
gonna
rotation.
give a bunch of runs in the first 2 innings, and then eventually, hopefully, he'll get yanked.
Does
But
he
they're
make?
gonna lose.
Does he make the team?
If he has a good game today,
Yeah.
that's gonna cement him into the fifth starter role.
So
if he has an
if he has
awful-
a good game,
if
he's a
he-
fifth starter.
If he has an awful game, I think it's just getting worse and worse for him when it comes to the fifth starter.
I'm
role.
going to say he makes the team. I hope it's as the fifth man. If not, it will be as the long man. Leafs. We've got Florida tonight.
Yep.
We have Carolina Thursday. And we're in
Ottawa.
Ottawa Saturday.
In Ottawa, yes, on Saturday.
So,
I say
what are Jay's predictions?
Florida. Well, I mean, if we're gonna do logistics here using stats, the Leafs should win tonight. Florida's a struggling team. They've lost 2 in a row.
Florida has beaten the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. No,
Good.
not New Jersey.
I'm glad they beat the Rangers because the Rangers
Yeah.
are coming after the Leafs.
They beaten Philly on the road. And they
And I-
beat the
and I-
Rangers while they were on the road.
Personally, I want to see the Leafs in the playoffs. It's been too long.
So,
You know what
what
I
are
mean?
your 3 predictions?
They'll win tonight.
Carolina.
And I think they're gonna lose in Carolina. Carolina's got
They're
their
in
number.
Toronto, though.
No, Carolina's got their number for sure.
And then Ottawa? In Ottawa.
I think they'll win in Ottawa.
2-1? I think
I think they've had enough of Ottawa winning.
I say 2-1, but I will say they'll beat Florida, they'll beat Carolina, and they'll lose to Ottawa.
Lose in Ottawa.
Ottawa's a very, very huge game, considering they are 4 points back.
And if they win
So
these 2 games,
Yeah.
they could be tied or just over them.
Yeah. So
depending
it'll
on
be a
what
4-point
happens.
game Saturday night. That's what you got to love about the shortened NHL
Well,
season.
Think about it. If Ottawa doesn't win a game until Saturday, and Toronto, I think all they have, if they win, if Toronto wins every game and Ottawa loses every game, they're tied, dead even, going into Saturday night. Now that would make for an interesting storyline.
Ottawa has the Rangers their next game on Thursday.
Okay, so hopefully Ottawa beats them. I know
Hold on. I just want to make sure.
all I have to say.
The Rangers Thursday and the Leafs Saturday.
All I have to say is you need to understand that with the Leafs in particular, you want to be in the 6th spot. You don't want to be in the 5th spot because you don't want to face Boston. You want to be in the 6th spot. Why? Because you'll face Winnipeg.
Winnipeg or
'Cause
Carolina.
you'll face Winnipeg. Never mind Carolina.
Be careful-
Carolina has our number.
Be careful what you cheer for, though, or be careful what you wish for.
So you would rather have Boston over Winnipeg?
Do you want to face Winnipeg in Winnipeg where the fans are just going to be crazy electric. The team's going to be electric.
You'll see a change. You'll see a change. No. You laugh, but if the Leafs are in the playoffs, the ACC will be crazy.
Yeah, but they won't compare to Winnipeg. That's my point.
You don't know that.
And there's 4 games in Winnipeg.
It's been
3
too
in
long
Toronto.
for you to make
even
that
if
prediction.
the home team wins every game, Leafs are still on the short end of the stick.
What are you talking about? No, I don't believe that because the Leafs have a better record right now.
Leafs will finish 6th. Winnipeg will finish 3rd. Winnipeg gets home ice. That's my point. Winnipeg would get 4 games at home. They'd win them all. Toronto would get 3 at home. They'd win them if you go by your philosophy. And
the better team wins, though, right? Whether they deal with...
That's why they play the game.
Exactly.
That's why they play the game.
They play the game to win. They don't play the game for the fans, even though they say that sometimes.
I apologize for our 2-week hiatus. We were on vacation.
Yeah. Dealing with...
In vacation,
work.
I mean... great amount of work, just like Jay said. But for my co-host, Jay, I'm Drew.
And that
Have a good
was
one.
BluLunch.